Welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, June the 30th. Sitting right next to me, I have a lady that I am so happy and proud to call my friend. Good to have you here. This is Vera Massey. And Vera walked in today and she said, let's talk about compassion. Okay, let's talk about compassion.
Well, it's something we need more of.
Yeah.
And you know, life can be hard. And there is a lot of suffering throughout our world. There's a lot of people have experiences that are very challenging. Mm-hmm. We all make mistakes. We all have our imperfections. We all share that.
Because we're all human beings.
We are all human beings, and we are interconnected.
That's right. I like that. And not just human beings being interconnected, but everything on this earth is interconnected. And sometimes we seem to forget that. We think that we are everything,
yes,
but we're only a small part.
One of my favorite quotes by a gentleman, Thomas Merton, says, "Compassion is keen awareness of the interdependence of all things."
Yes.
Just what we said. Everything is connected. So noticing that there is suffering amongst all of us in totality, all of us, to be moved by that suffering, and to feel a desire to help alleviate suffering. And that could just simply be a more understanding person, a kinder person, a less judging person. Those are ways to show compassion and taking action in thoughts, in behaviors.
Sometimes, do you feel like our world is moving in the opposite direction? Sometimes I feel that way, and then I've got to knock myself on the side of the head and say, wait, you can't allow yourself to start thinking that way, because if you start thinking that way, you act that way. And the way you act is what you are.
Well, this can happen. And you know, to be a compassionate person with others and situations starts within with our own self-compassion.
Okay, explain that.
Well, it's to be aware that as myself, I do suffer at times with situations.
Well, we all do.
And so I have to be kind and understanding to myself when I have not always made choices that served me well. I may not be my higher self at times. I may not be as patient. I may not be as understanding. But instead of beating myself up, to acknowledge that I've made a mistake.
Yeah. So you've got to be nice to yourself to start with, and then you're nice to yourself and you spread that compassion to other people and things.
Because oftentimes, and part of what's not being compassionate is to be constantly judging. Well, if they hadn't done this, then they wouldn't have been in that situation. You know, let's say some play of events that have occurred. Well, we've all not made choices that maybe have served us well. But to be compassionate is that we not judge, because judging generates negative emotions. It does not create positive emotions that help with managing some of these difficult challenges in life.
And negative emotions bring us down, and they bring people down that are around us. And it's not good for your health either.
Oh, and that's where we need to talk about. There are benefits far beyond just for mankind to be compassionate. But studies show that people who are more compassionate, who practice more acts of kindness, tend to be healthier heart-wise. Heart rates are lower, blood pressure is lower. There's less cortisol produced, a hormone that is released during stress that we experience. We are more resilient as people to coming and dealing with challenges in life when we're more compassionate.
You know, I read a story, I want to say it was 4 or 5 months ago, I can't remember. But just the simple act of smiling.
Absolutely.
Even if you're feeling bad, the simple act of smiling starts to make your body feel better and release stress.
That's right.
Why? Why is that?
Well, it actually activates different nerve centers in the brain. And so that caring part of the brain is activated when a smile, which can generate a positive emotion, occurs. And the key thing is that we have to practice kindness. We have to practice compassion, just as we would think about if we're going to do strength training to get stronger. It doesn't happen being kind once.
You got to work at it.
You have to practice it over and over. And so, thinking about, well, what kind, at the end of the day, if we can ask ourselves, well, what kind thing did I do today? What kind thing did I say today?
Try to do or say at least one kind thing a day.
There are studies that show 5 acts of kindness in a week, a conscious effort, can dramatically change different aspects of our health and well-being.
I like that.
That's just 5 things.
Yeah. And just even walking down the street and trying to make eye contact with somebody you don't know at all and give them a smile and say hi.
One of my big things now that I've retired, there's one grocery store I go to where you have to put a quarter in a little cart.
Yeah, to get the card out.
My big thing is I give people the cart and they try to give me the quarter.
And you say, oh no,
and
just take it.
It's, Happy Tuesday. And they, they're just like overwhelmed. They feel good. I feel good. It was a very simple act of kindness.
And it didn't take any effort to do that. Instead of taking the cart, well, you're taking it away from the grocery store, but it's a quarter and it makes somebody else feel better.
So it's these little things that build in leading us to be a more compassionate person in the bigger scheme of life.
I like that. I like talking to you, Vera. I mean, just sitting here, I feel better after I've talked to you for 8 minutes or so.
Well, and that's the key thing. Even recalling positive experiences from our past generates positive emotions.
Right. So when you go someplace tonight or this afternoon, you see a stranger, you're walking on the street, give them a great big smile, say hi. They may wonder what you're up to, but it'll make them feel better.
It will.
And it'll make you feel better,
Absolutely.
too. All right. Vera Massey, thank you so much for coming by. Pleasure having you here. League of Women Voters and MU Theater will be on with us tomorrow. If there's something you would like to hear or see, I would love to hear from you. Just drop me an email, pepperp@missouri.edu. And if you're going to be out and about this afternoon, be nice to each other and be nice to yourself, too. Bye-bye.